Look, I know how this sounds. AITA for ruining a grad student's career over moss. But it's not moss, it's lichen, and honestly, I'd do it again. I've been a cemetery groundskeeper for 12 years. Not the job anyone dreams about, right? But I genuinely love it. I maintain graves that haven't had visitors in decades. I document the wildlife, foxes, owls, the whole ecosystem. I photograph deteriorating headstones for historical records. It's quiet, it's meaningful. And yeah, I'm just the groundskeeper. I didn't go to college, but I read, I observe, I care. 3 years ago, I noticed something weird on some 1800s headstones in the old section. This crusty, bright orange growth that I'd never seen before. I started photographing it obsessively, documenting which stones, the growth patterns, seasonal changes. I'm talking spreadsheets, time-lapse photography, weather correlations. I knew it was something special. So I did what any normal person does. I Googled rare lichen identification for like 6 months, joined online forums, bought actual textbooks. Turned out this was a species thought to be extinct in our region, potentially endangered, growing on graves from the 1830s because of the specific limestone composition and the microclimate from old oak trees. I was sitting on something legitimately important. I contacted the state university, told them what I found. They sent a PhD student, let's call her Emma. Mid-20s, enthusiastic, said she was specializing in urban ecology. Emma was nice, like genuinely friendly. She came every week for 4 months. I showed her everything. My photo archives going back 3 years, my notes on growth patterns, the specific headstones. I explained my theory about the limestone and the oak canopy. I even showed her graves nobody else knew about, the unmarked ones, the forgotten corners. She called me a citizen scientist, said I should be proud, said my work was invaluable to her research. I felt seen, validated, like maybe I wasn't just the groundskeeper after all. 8 months later, Emma publishes a paper. Discovery of Xanthoria caruensis in urban cemetery ecosystems, a novel finding. My name nowhere. Not in the acknowledgments, not in the citations, nothing. All my photographs, my observations, my years of documentation, presented as her original fieldwork. She's giving talks at conferences, gets a $50,000 research grant, getting interviewed for conservation magazines as this brilliant young researcher who discovered the endangered lichen through her innovative survey methods. I saw one interview where she said, "I spent over a year surveying this cemetery, sometimes in extreme weather conditions, to document this population." I was there. She came on sunny Thursdays for 4 months and I made her coffee. I didn't know what to do. Who do you even tell? I'm a groundskeeper. She's getting a PhD from a major university. I didn't go to college. I've got a high school diploma and 12 years of caring for dead people. I convinced myself maybe this is just how academia works. Maybe citizen scientist means your work gets absorbed into someone else's career. Maybe I was being sensitive. But it ate at me. This was going to be my proof that I'm more than just the groundskeeper, that I notice things, that I matter. I started missing work, stopped taking my documentation photos. What was the point? Then Mrs. Chen changed everything. Mrs. Chen is 83. She visits her husband's grave every Sunday, rain or shine, for the past 19 years. We always chat. She noticed I seemed off. I broke down and told her everything. She listened. Then she said, "You care for the forgotten. That girl just wants her name remembered. You're not the same. Your work was already meaningful before she touched it." Something clicked. I wasn't documenting the lichen for recognition. I was doing it because those graves deserved attention, because that ecosystem mattered, because I actually cared. Emma didn't steal my purpose. She stole credit. Those are different things. I didn't do anything at first. I just kept working. Started contributing my historical headstone photos to the County Historical Society's newsletter. They loved them. Started publishing my life in the cemetery photo essays monthly. The foxes, the seasonal changes, the lichen, oh yes, the lichen, the stories behind forgotten graves. Local history, nerds ate it up. One of my essays included dated photos of the lichen growth from 3 years before Emma ever showed up. Time-stamped, detailed notes, clear documentation of my methodology. Apparently, Emma's faculty advisor reads small-town historical newsletters because he's a cemetery architecture buff. He sees my photos, sees the dates, sees documentation that predates Emma's year-long survey by years. He emails me, very carefully asks if I'd worked with Emma, if I'd contributed to her research. I sent him everything, the emails, the visitor logs I'd kept, my original photo archives with metadata, my notebooks. Radio silence for 2 weeks. Then the university announces an investigation into research integrity concerns. Emma's paper retracted. Her conference presentations rescinded. The $50,000 grant revoked. She has to pay it back because she'd already spent some. Turns out academic fraud is taken very seriously. Who knew? Probably everyone except me. Emma's PhD, on hold pending disciplinary review. The department head calls me, apologizes profusely, says this is deeply embarrassing for the university. Then asks if I'd be willing to meet with their restoration ecology team. Long story short, they offer me a position as specialist consultant in cemetery ecology, with co-author credit on a new paper with proper methodology, a research budget for equipment, and a salary that's literally double what I make as groundskeeper. I negotiate. I tell them I don't want to stop being the groundskeeper. That's my actual job, the thing that matters. But I want resources to do the research properly, and I want to stay hands-on with the grounds. They agree. I get both. New title, cemetery groundskeeper and ecological research specialist. I get to keep doing what I love, but now with funding, recognition, and the ability to publish properly. Emma's career is effectively over before it started. She's become a cautionary tale in academic ethics courses. I feel complicated about that. She contacted me once, a 2-line email. I'm sorry, I made a terrible mistake. I didn't respond. What would I even say? The new paper comes out in 6 months. My name is first author. The university is throwing a small launch event. Mrs. Chen is coming as my guest. The lichen population is now officially protected. The cemetery is getting designated as an ecological preservation site. They're creating interpretive signs about the habitat with my photos. Here's where I might be TA. I could have reported her quietly, could have asked for acknowledgement without triggering the full investigation. But I sent everything to her advisor, every email where she called my work invaluable, every instance where she claimed my observations as her fieldwork. I made sure he saw the full scope. I knew it would nuke her career, and I did it anyway. Some friends say I should feel bad, that she's young, made a mistake, her whole future is destroyed. But she didn't make a mistake. She made hundreds of calculated choices over months. Every time she presented at a conference, every interview, every grant application, she chose to erase me. So Reddit, AITA. The lichen is still there, by the way, growing on graves from the 1830s, thriving in its little ecosystem of limestone and oak shade and forgotten names. I check on it every morning. Some things grow slow and quiet and get overlooked for centuries.